And opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hello, welcome back to Moms for Justice with Carolyn and Jocelyn. This is our podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I know, it's been a minute.
But I was going to say, it's been really hot here and I'm loving it.
You're really high. You're really high and I'm really low. Like, can you lower your seat a little bit? Because it looks like I guess I could.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Wait, I'm just like sitting up. Hi. Hello, Gonzo.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. I was at a friend's house for dinner. So I'm sorry we're late. I had to rush in. So
she was late.
That's why we're a little uneven. We're like, all right, let's go.
All right. So before we start, I just want to make sure the volume's okay. Like if you hear us right now, does she sound louder than me? Do I sound louder than her? I've been trying to fix this problem because the volume has been kind of wacky. But anyway, I think it's okay. If I move my mic back, I think I pick it up a lot quicker than you do.
I just moved mine a little closer.
Yeah.
All right. You guys tell us.
Yeah, you tell us. Okay, so anyway, we weren't going to do an episode on Bryan Kohberger today, but these new documents came out on him. And I was like, let me tell you.
Good stuff.
It's disturbing actually because, all right, here's the thing. I want a disclaimer, I'm just going to get it out there right now that this episode is not suggesting in any way, shape or form, at least from me, that I think Kohberger didn't do it or anything. Because, I mean, obviously he admitted it, right? He admitted it. Right. He took a plea. And for the most part, yeah, I mean, the guy needs, to be put away. But so there's this new 300 page document that came out day before yesterday. And I read about 150 pages of it today. And I was able to, and I got questions. I have some questions about things. I mean, yeah, he did it, but I've got questions about some of the things that I'm reading that are really, really disturbing. And
so let me ask you, is this document written from a police officer's view?
This is all the police documents. They were released from the Moscow police. And they're like all their findings, all their interviews with everybody. And there's so much stuff in there. So I did an outline on it so that we could talk about it. But I mean, just, boom, like just page after page after page.
You did your homework today.
Yeah, but okay. And it's redacted. So like names are blocked out. So I had to literally I figured out who the names were. So yeah. So I read that. You guys could see that there. Anyway, I want to read a little bit from it, but I want to go over some of the things that stood out for me. Okay. And then
I also want to, sorry, finish.
No. Go ahead. No, go.
Okay.
I want you to.
So I also want to say that I would love to do another side episode on top of Kohberger. Like I told you, I was reading that book that's written by James Patterson and Vicky something about the Idaho murders. And it's so good. There's a lot personal informative things. So you have the more police, the police info, but this book is more about personal and individual people and how they took the case, and it actually dips down into his childhood, Bryan Kohberger's childhood. So let's do an episode about that.
I would love that.
Or even just about the book. It's just so good.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm with you. Like, I mean, I love like the detailed stuff. I just love to hear about a person's life. And like you said, that there's a guy that the Idaho for American Tragedy, James Patterson, Vicky Ward. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So everybody pick up the book. Good. And then maybe we could do like a book club. We'll have like a book club on it, all of us. But you were saying that there's like a guy in the book that talks about that he was a friend of his back in the day. And
Yes.
go ahead, share like a tidbit.
And so it was the chapter I was on right now, chapter 22. So his friend Jeremy that he grew up with.
German? His name is German?
No, Germany. I'm John Germany. Jeremy.
Okay.
Right. So his parents thought that he was a bad influence, and they actually picked up and moved. Like just stayed in the state, obviously, and stayed in the town, but just they were neighbors or something like that. So they moved to like a different area. But apparently they stayed friends. Anyway,
they stayed friends anyway, even though he moved away.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, they just didn't live in the same block or same neighborhood. The parents decided to move, like,
okay,
a couple miles away. Anyway, so it turns out that, and I believe a different school district too, because, well, that would obviously not help if they lived in the same development still. Anyway, so they actually, both of them got into heroin. He is a heroin addict or recoverer.
Wow.
I didn't know.
And so what is the age? Can you give me the age range of when they were friends?
So like 12, and then he went to rehab around 16.
Okay, so they all at one point were in high school together.
Yes,
Jeremy and Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
Okay.
Middle school to high school, I would assume. He went to rehab. He went to rehab twice. The second time he was 16. So that's why it's not out there, because all that record is sponged. He was a juvenile.
Gotcha. He used to be like 300 pounds.
Yes, that's another thing on the book too, about how he goes to this local gym. It's in there too. And actually the local gym is geared towards teenagers.
Okay.
Which I thought that was really kind of cool. I mean, it's for everybody, but it was known for a lot of kids that to help them. It was like their therapy. It was promoted as a therapy gym. Yeah. Yeah.
And just like he struggled with the girls, and 300 pounds, he was bullied, he was made fun of, he was really awkward and all that. And then he slimmed down big time. Now he has a sister. Bryan Kohberger has a sister that is kind of semi-famous. She was in a horror film about knives, about slashing people.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. She really was. I think her name is
Amanda. Get that in the book.
Amanda Kohberger, I think it is. Actually didn't write this down, so don't persecute me for that. But no, she was in a slasher film. So yeah, what is that on your face here? Okay, there we go. Not on my screen, not on your face. Oh. Okay, so before we start, subscribe, give us a like right now, and share the page when you get it. Yeah, totally. And we want to hear your comments at the end. We'll talk a little bit afterwards, but I'll start with all the things that I pulled out of the documents that are new. Now, there are people that have talked about this already, and I want you to know there's a couple things in here that are in the news about the documents that you're not going to hear anywhere else. I have a few things that I pulled out that I read that nobody talked about in the news. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go over stuff, obviously, that, and you haven't heard any of it yet.
No.
Okay. All right. Put on my glasses. All right. So, okay, so we know our victims are Kaylee, Madison, Zaina, Ethan. I'm just going to talk about them by their first name, okay? And we all know they were murdered on the 13th, 2022, at the University of Idaho, and you guys know the rest. And then he took the plea. Okay, so pulling out of these documents, here's what we learned. Kaylee told roommates that she saw a man staring at her while she was walking her dog, and this was just within weeks before the murders. Okay? He was positioned up above their house to the south. Kaylee believed she was being followed in the weeks leading up to the murders. That's the first time we're really hearing that she had this fear of having a stalker, And there are several friends that corroborate this in these interviews that I read. One was saying, yeah, we went out to lunch together, and she talked about having a stalker. And then, what were you going to say something?
They said that in the book that they were able to ping his phone pre-murder 12 times by the house.
Yes. But Okay, well, there's more about that, but
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it. Okay, so then she also saw a shadowy figure while outside, and reported seeing an unknown man that was staring at her more than one time.
Report to who? Report to just friends?
She reported to friends, and these are the
Okay.
friends now telling the police in their interviews. On November 4th, the roommates returned home at 11 a.m. So this is what? Like not even 10 days, right? Like
9
10 days. The roommates returned home at 11 a.m. to find that the door was open and loose on its hinges. Kaylee was not there at the time, so it was the other kids. And Zaina's father later came over to fix the door. So there's that.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have the crime scene. Okay. So listen, it was way worse than anybody thought. I mean, it was like bloody and gruesome, just absolutely horrendous. Blood pooled on bed comforters, floors, and splattered across walls. Blood was cast off above the bodies. Okay.
What does that mean?
Like above, up onto walls and ceilings. Above, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Zaina had more than 50 stab wounds. I mean,
That's
really
a lot.
brutal. Extensive defensive injuries on her hands, so she was fighting. Deep gash between her thumb and her forefinger. And then the room showed signs of an intense, and they used the words intense, an intense struggle. Okay. And I'm going to go more into that because I have the section where they there's an interview from the police officer who first walked in and saw what he saw. Maddie had a deep facial laceration under her right eye that connected over to her nose. So from here to there. Big gash. Okay. And wounds on her forearms and hands. Obviously, those are defensive. I am saying Zaina. I don't know why. And somebody just said pronounce Zaina. It is Zaina. It's pronounced like a Z. Did I say it any differently? I don't think so. I didn't say Xana. It's Zaina. No. Okay. So, and then this is the one that breaks my heart. Oh, this one kills me. Kaylee was completely unrecognizable on her face. She had such extreme facial damage that she didn't even look human form. That's how badly she was. He literally just demolished her face. Yes. Yeah. So bad. Awful. Ethan was, obviously we all know he was killed. Details of his injury were not included in the released documents. However, that's not true because I read the documents and I read things about they found him with the blanket halfway up his torso and that he's in the same room as Zaina. And I want to talk about that when I get to it, but he is found in the same room. I know the police officer said that he walked down the hallway when he got to the second floor. He saw where the bathroom was, and from where he was standing by the bathroom, the door was ajar to Zaina's bedroom. And you could see her right from there in that little crack. She had a pair of thong underwear on and a sweatshirt, and she was laying on the floor. And she was just, awful scene, blood everywhere. And then there's Ethan on the bed.
Right. I heard that he was facing towards the wall and that he had a stab wound in his neck and buttocks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do have the section on that. You might bear with me so I can find it all, but
okay.
I do have it here. Okay. So surviving roommates accounts. So Bethany Funk, she was roommate. We're going to call her roommate B as per the documents. She heard, I thought this was interesting. When she was downstairs, she said that she wasn't sure if she called Dylan or Dylan called her. She doesn't remember. But she said that she had heard the sound of like a firecracker and saw a sparkler like flash from under her door. So that's inside the house. Now, what could that be? He did not use a gun. He had a knife. So what could have created this flash and a firecracker sound? I don't know.
Plus, Bethany's in the basement, the bottom floor.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there is an exit out her level, but he went in and out through the sliding door out the back.
That's on the second floor.
I know.
Right. So
we're-
that makes me think he went down there and she did lock her door. Her door was locked. So maybe he was going to see about, I mean, just, it gives me the jeebies, man. Like the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I'm like, if I was her mother, I would just, not only feeling survivor's guilt, about and feeling guilty about wanting my daughter to have stayed alive. But I mean, seriously, like she dodged a bullet. Really
so funny. My kids always lock their doors, and I'm like, why do you guys lock your doors? Like I never lock my bedroom door. Right. But my kids lock their bedroom doors. Mm-hmm. Do your kids lock their bedroom doors?
No, they used to, but they don't now. They don't now because of me. Because I always say, like, what if there's a fire and I need to come in and get you? I don't want to be standing there like, I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So I'm still on Bethany. So she woke up again around 11 a.m. and it says here, noticed that no one was up. I mean, it's not like she went upstairs to notice that. She just didn't hear anybody, I think. She looked, no, that's not till later.
11 a.m. on the 13th on Sunday?
Yeah, on the morning of when they wake up.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they were killed on the same day as they woke up.
I know, but I just want to understand. I thought they didn't go upstairs yet. I thought they called their friends across the street.
They did.
First.
Yeah. Well, no, not yet. Not until later. Not until after 11. Okay, so Dylan around 4 a.m. hears Kate hears a voice, say, there is someone here. She heard crying in the bathroom and a male voice say, it's okay, I'm gonna help you. Right. And then later opened her door and saw a man this is where I'm gonna get really I'm confused about, and maybe you all can help me that know this case, but she later says she opens her door and sees a man wearing a black ski mask leaving through the kitchen. Well, then where does she get the bushy eyebrows from?
Because the ski mask it's like one of those things. Like it covers here.
Come on.
And then you just see the eyes and the bushy eyebrows.
It's dark. It's the middle of the night.
Plus it's up against his head, right? So then the bushy eyebrows would be sticking out. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I thought they cover everything except for the eyeballs.
No. I ski. I'm telling you. No, because you usually wear your goggles. So it usually goes to here because you got to breathe. Okay. Or it goes like this. But it usually goes. But your eyes are out.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Then that solves that question. I had that question. I was like, wait, what's going on here about the bushy eyebrows? She described the man as white with a big nose. That was the other thing. Is the nose protruding from a ski mask?
Yeah, because like I said, it could have been like one of those, like this.
On. I'm looking up what a ski mask looks like here. Black ski mask. Let's see, guys. Okay, no. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Well, there's a lot of different ski masks, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
as
so
long
guys,
as it covers the mouth.
Look, I don't see anything with a nose sticking out, and I don't see anything with the mouth. I mean, really.
No, the mouth is not going to show. It's just your eyes.
All right, here's one. Mouth. Wait, how about this guy?
Look, how about this guy? Yeah, his nose is out.
All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah,
that's not a typical ski mask. I'm sorry. Nobody wears a hood like that.
Okay, well, to me, that's what I thought of when I thought of ski mask. No? Which one is it?
It says black ski mask, but most people don't wear that.
Well, tell me which one of these are the typical ski masks. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. So scroll up. Like that. Oh, hold on. Like the guy right here with the eyes.
Well, you're going to need to put this one? Or this one?
Down.
This guy.
That one, yeah.
Okay, you don't see the nose. She said he had a big nose.
Well, maybe his nose is so big it protrudes out. I mean, I don't know, but you can definitely tell the bushy eyebrows.
All right. Okay. All right. Back to the grind. I just wanted to know, I thought that was weird. I don't know. To me, a ski mask, it would cover it. And also, in the dead of night, you catch your glance with the person really quick. Probably not standing there too long, right? Staring each other down. So how did you know that quickly he was white? I don't know. It's dark. I just thought that was weird. Anyway. All right. So, both roommates initially thought that it could be a prank, and they were too groggy to act. And by the way, both were loaded drunk.
Yes.
They were. That was confirmed.
Yes.
All right.
For 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Friday,
were just
Saturday.
Yes.
They were partying since Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so Kohberger's DNA found on the button snap of the knife sheath on the victim's bed. Okay, so that was in there. We already knew that. So, cell phone data placed him near the house multiple times before and on the night of the murders. Surveillance footage captured his vehicle circling the area. We know that already. And then an online purchase history showed that knife. Okay. Walmart employee reported a young man asking for a black ski mask 2 to 3 weeks before the murders. So that was, I didn't know that. And
cool.
And I'll get to that because he actually, it was strange the way he asked. It's just so much here. Hopefully I could find it. So nearby residents said she and her daughter saw a nervous looking man in their yard in August and September of 2022. And both said they believed it was Kohberger. So there's like
their neighbors. It was a neighbor.
It just says nearby resident.
Okay.
Okay, witness tips from food truck footage, bar sightings, and Uber rides also. Multiple subpoenas and warrants issued, including for Tinder in case of profiles linked to victims or Kohberger. Now, by the way, they do interview an Uber driver. Here's interesting tidbit. They went to full length to go and sit down with an Uber driver that Kaylee had saved as his personal name in her phone. And he ended up, it says like his name and then it says Uber driver. And she saved it. The guy who picked them up that night was a personal call for that. Like they didn't use Uber to get him to come pick her up.
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like a chicken. I won't like go and,
Olivia has a personal Uber driver.
That is dangerous.
No,
for her to make friends with Uber drivers.
Uber drivers are normal people. So she's friends with this guy. If anything, that's better. She's known this guy for now 3 years, and he usually picks. She calls him and says, "I'm gonna be in blah blah blah," and can you pick me up? And then he gets the money. You know what I mean? Like,
but he's a stranger.
It's not. She's known him for 3 years now. I mean, he's like almost like her personal driver in a sense, right? I mean, like how it's better.
So she only pays him in cash? How does that work?
I'm sure she just Zells them. I mean, I don't know 100%,
gotcha.
But yeah, she probably just Zells them. And it's better for him. It's
I would never.
Why?
I would never let my kids do that.
Uber?
Never. Saving an Uber driver as a personal contact and then contacted them outside the scope of Uber where the protection is through Uber.
Oh. Yeah, but
because
if you know him for how long? For 3 years now? Don't you?
This is when we get into it. This is when we start fighting.
Don't you actually feel more secure that she knows this guy for 3 years now?
Okay, scenario. Ready? Here's the scenario. I'm an Uber driver. And I'm a psycho, and I'm looking to meet girls and maybe even rape girls. Okay, so I start my career as an Uber driver, and I start, whatever. I don't know if it's the passenger or the Uber driver that does this, but I start making connections so I can have, a personal connection to go pick up the person instead of using Uber. Right. I let time go by. I let that relationship develop. I let it go on over time. And then boom, one night at 3 a.m. when she asked me to come pick her up, assuming I'm some crazy lunatic guy that's doing this. And boom, I got her. 3 a.m. in the morning, I can rape her. And Uber can't track it. It's not being tracked. There's none of that. The protections of having Uber are not there anymore. Who agrees with me? Well, give me a thumbs up if you agree with me right now, because I think that's messed up. I wouldn't do that.
Why would you not tell your daughter, like, okay, even though you're getting picked up by Sam, I want you to text me when you leave, and I have her location. So like, everybody has their location on.
Great.
So.
Okay. Right. But then but remember, she's in the car with her phone. So let's say he rapes her. Then he takes her phone, goes in, deletes his contact, cleans the slate. I'm sorry. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Oh.
Absolutely irresponsible. It's irresponsible. And I strongly suggest that your daughter stop doing that right now because you don't really know this guy. You don't really know this guy.
No, that's true. But I definitely don't know the Uber drivers. Every Uber driver she might use, I still don't know them.
No, but at least it's through Uber. And then they come to pick you up. Wait. Let me finish my thought. Okay. And then you can speak. Okay. You go on your Uber app. You say, I need a ride. You pick your guy. He comes and shows up. You walk to the back of the car and you double check the name. You double check the license plate number. And then you get in. And then Uber has protections in place and they have and all that. But it's trackable that way. Not if you hey, give me your number. Let's bypass this crap. And you can come pick me up. And then, it all seems like he's a nice guy at first for a couple rides until he finds that right moment.
So what's the difference of getting this guy's number? He's always driving you back and forth for the last 2 years. And then one day he slips, right? And he wants to kill you. The fact is that you have on record that you're said to your friends, oh, Sam is going to pick me up. He's my personal Uber. Oh, okay, whatever. So now your friends know that you're getting picked up by Uber. And then you already have a tracker on your phone. So I already know where she's at. So whether it's the real Uber driver that she doesn't know and could be anybody, or it's Sam that she's known for 2 years and he could kill her, it doesn't matter. There's nothing in between her getting in the car and getting killed and the Uber driver.
I disagree.
You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing that's going to stop it. There's nothing going to stop her dying, whether it's that Uber driver that she doesn't know or the Uber driver she does know.
But most of the people you meet or friends that you meet that are new, you meet them through other people that you've already known and established. This is somebody, just some Joe Schmo off the street who's your Uber driver once, and then you're like, hey, give me your number. You can pick me up anytime you want.
It's a Joe Schmo every time you use an Uber. Every time you use an Uber, it's a Joe Schmo.
But it's being tracked.
It doesn't matter. Your phone is being tracked. You still have a tracking system on there.
Okay. You don't see the difference?
What I'm saying, I don't see the difference of you're getting tracked on Uber, right? I understand that, and it's easier to connect the dots, obviously, if it's Joe Schmo working for actual Uber as opposed to Sam, who you've known. But it doesn't matter. Your phone is still being tracked, and there's nothing that's going to stop this person from killing you. You're still tracking it.
I just think it's less likely. If you don't run around making connections like that with people, it could be Uber, it could be Tinder, it could be all whatever. Even the dating apps freak me out. These people that go on dates are like, what's Tinder? Like literally, it's like a hookup, right? It's a hookup. It is, yeah. And I have no experience with this, y'all. Is there anybody on here that's ever used Tinder? I want to understand it, but what I've read so far or what I've heard on other crime shows is people can literally just go and see on a map people that are nearby that you can go hook up with.
Yes, that's correct.
And is it sex only?
That's it wasn't at first, but it's turned into that.
So basically, if you're on Tinder, you're guaranteed sex. It's almost like assumed. Like if you go on Tinder, you're basically saying you're willing to have sex.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
much
bad.
It's pretty much like that. I mean, I'm sure people say no all the time, but it's pretty much like a given. You want some, you go on Tinder.
On a side note, there is a crime that was outside of the country, but it was called, it was a Tinder date. And they went on a date and she got really, really wasted and drunk. And then she got thrown over the balcony of a hotel. We got to do that one. It's a really crazy one.
Poor girl.
I forgot the name of it. But anyway, it's all on, it's all recorded the whole night.
How is it recorded?
Her phone, she turned on the record button on her phone and recorded hours of their date, and it leads all the way up to her death. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. We should do that one.
That's what I'm
do that
saying.
One next.
So that's what I'm saying. So she records it, right? All it
she didn't know.
Is real.
Yeah.
Right. She didn't know she was going to die. But all it did was it just connected the dots faster. But there's nothing that's going to stop that person from killing her.
No, but you lessen your chances when you don't put yourself out there like that, Lynn. That's what I'm saying.
But if she knows this guy for 2 years, they've become friends. That's not putting yourself out there. Putting yourself out there is going into every strange Uber driver for the past 2 years.
No, because that to me is safer. I mean, I still think Uber can be dangerous even when you get into with a when you do it the right way. It still can be dangerous. But I think that's like absolutely crazy. Anything can be dangerous. I agree with you, but I think you're minimizing your risk when you don't go exchanging numbers with strange people. That's all.
Oh my God.
Let's go back to the Kohberger case. I'm done with you.
Okay.
Goodbye. All right. So, sorry, everybody. Okay. All right. Where was I? Now you messed me up. Okay. A woman who matched with Kohberger on Tinder in the fall of 2022. She reported. Did you hear this yet?
No. So she hooked up. So he actually went on Tinder.
He went on a Tinder date. Okay.
Somebody swiped left on him. Wow. Okay.
I know.
He's
yeah.
He's really not that bad looking. It's just when you start talking to him, he gets all freaky weird.
He's really weird. I mean, I guess he's all right. I don't know. He's kind of freaky looking. Those eyes are really like soulless. You know what I mean? But anyway, so yes. So a woman he went on a date with through Tinder in the fall of 2022 reported that he discussed horror movies and asked, "What do you think is the worst way to die?" He asked her that.
Okay.
And she replies, "A knife." And he responded, and you ready for this? Like a K-bar, which is the brand knife he had with the Idaho 4. She cut off all communication. It's not surprising. I'd be like, all right, I think I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
You know, can you take
She's
me
like,
home?
check.
Check, please.
Check, please.
Wait, I'll call an Uber. Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Are you gonna play a soundbar?
I was going, Thank you, that was good. All right. All right, so she shut off all communication due to how uncomfortable the conversation was. And then police confirmed Kohberger had purchased the K-bar knife and sheath from Amazon, and the sheath was found. We all know that already.
Why? Why purchase from Amazon? There's so many like gun shows out there in the Midwest. Go to every gun show sells knives. Go freaking pick up a knife there where it doesn't get tracked.
Yeah.
Why would you get it off of Amazon?
Especially,
it's just so stupid.
Especially over here in the South where I am. I mean, there's like gun shows around every corner every weekend.
Seriously.
So
he does nothing. He does nothing all weekend. I'm sure he sacrificed driving 3 hours to, let's say he had to go 3 hours to some big gun show. Like I don't understand. Why would you want?
Hey,
anyway,
wait a minute. Anne, you gave us a super chat. Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Aw, thank you.
She's a doll. She's like always like supportive ever since she's hopped on with us. You're just a doll.
Aww.
Okay, so all right, now here's the thing. The Tinder records were never recoverable. They couldn't recover them. Okay. And that might just be because they're so old. But there's an interview with the girl. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's that. So, okay. So police interview with Kohberger. He was arrested on December 2022 at his parents' home, interviewed by Moscow, Idaho State, and FBI. He initially made small talk in the beginning of his interview. He talked about Washington State football, teaching assistant duties, doctorate studies, said he wanted to be a professor. And then he claimed he had heard about the murders via a phone alert from Washington State University. When asked directly about the case, he said, "I think I would need a lawyer." And then it invoked his Fifth Amendment right. So, okay, his jail behavior while he was in Lata, is it Lata? I don't know, county jail.
Yeah.
An inmate housed next to Kohberger in September reported Kohberger frequently questioned others about their charges, was obsessively clean, washed hands dozens of times a day, showered for up to an hour, and then slept during the day, stayed awake most nights. So, and you know, I think he's on the spectrum. We don't know for sure. Nobody's ever, do we? Didn't they say autism? No, they did say autism, right?
No.
No, they did. Don't you remember like 8 months ago, they were going to try to use an autism defense?
Well, they were going to try to use a defense about he has social anxiety, but it wasn't actually he doesn't actually have autism. He's never been diagnosed with it, but he's had issues all his life.
Yeah.
I mean, if he fast forward his life in the sense, if he was born now, I'm sure he would have been diagnosed when he was younger. But as time goes on,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff gets a little bit better. But at his day and age, he just wasn't diagnosed with that. But anyway, the one thing that you said was about, you said something about, well, you were just, I forgot. Didn't want to interrupt you, but now I forgot. All right, just go ahead.
Frank goes, they had a heated discussion as usual, but they're still friends. Yeah, try what is it now? Like age 5. Like that's 50 years ago. We've been friends for 50. No, 45 years. We've been friends 45 years. We met in first grade.
First grade.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. So cute.
I know. I was like a mute kid. I was like really super quiet and I didn't talk to anybody. And I had these braids or ponytails in my hair.
So cute. Yeah.
I had these ponytails. And she was sitting behind me and she pokes me on my shoulder. She's like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Can you take your braids out and can I play with your hair?" And that's how we met. So that was it. And then I'm riding on the back of a.
Excuse me. Did I say excuse me?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And you know what? She invited me to her house and she was the biggest tomboy and she had motorcycles and I used to ride on the back of a motorcycle with this girl at like age 7 or 8, right? When we were like 7 or 8, I would ride on the back of a motorcycle. Like
I was total tomboy. Tomboy. My friends were like through the woods. Remember John and Eric?
Yeah.
They're good friends of mine. And I really didn't have my only girlfriend was you.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah. You were a tomboy.
Yeah.
Back
and my
then,
sister, of course.
Back then they would have feared you'd end up being a lesbian.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I totally didn't recognize boys until like, I don't know, maybe 6th grade.
Yeah.
Maybe even, the end of 5th grade. Yeah.
Right. Well, listen, look at her. She is like absolutely stunningly beautiful. You should, and on her wedding day, she looked like the Queen Victoria. She had this enormous crown on her head and this buffoon dress. It was just absolutely huge. And she's just stunning, like stunningly beautiful.
That's so nice. Oh,
yeah, not that you weren't when you were little, but when you were little, I was
weird looking. I was weird.
You were short and like kind of like Yeah.
I was always heavy, and I was just I was the only like Filipino. And everybody in our town
Italian.
was like white. Yeah, white.
I know
Yeah. And I was the only one that was like, dark. I used to come in September and be like really dark. In September because of summer sun, right? So dark. And then I didn't get lighter until like March. And really my light was still like your tan, so I was always, the oddball out. And I don't know. Plus my name is different. Like who's Jocelyn? Nobody.
Yeah. Well, don't say your last name on here. Don't say it, but you did have a different name. But you're half Italian. You're not Filipino, you're Filipino and Italian.
Right. But what I'm saying is everything about me was different. You know what I mean? My parents were different. My father was 25 years older than my mother. I had a mother who was a foreigner who went. So when we had teacher conferences, I had to go because my mom really didn't understand English that great. So everything about me was different. So I think that's probably why I didn't gravitate to girls because boys were just easier to get along with. They didn't care about that stuff.
Until I came along. Until I came along and I, rocked your world screaming my head off on the back of your motorcycle because I was terrified.
I know.
Yeah, and I think we only had one fight in our entire life. One fight.
Oh, we did?
5th grade, you pushed me into
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, Miss Levitt's class. I was going across the quad and you went, "Hey, Carolyn," and you pushed me. I was like, "I lost my friend." Like it was like a mess for days. But all right, I don't think anybody wants to hear this anymore. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are we annoying you? I'm so sorry. So I wanted to ask you guys another question. So me and Lynn were thinking about doing another spin-off show on just like BS, just like
this. Yeah.
having a show. And because like, honestly, like we go to town when it comes to like off topic of true crime. It's like, I don't know, just let us know what you think. Would you watch the show if we got and we just talked about everyday life? Yeah, let us know. Okay. So we won't bore them anymore with our BS.
Life experiences, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, a teaching assistant at Washington State said that he was highly intelligent, but very selfish, were the words used, inappropriately interacted with female students, and later was terminated from his position. A strip club dancer alleges that Kohberger once muttered about wanting to kill people, but no evidence ever supported her claim.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that.
That could just be like her adding to the whole fuss. You know what I mean? I wouldn't believe that. Yeah.
Okay. So, oh my gosh. So, like literally, I'm just going to pull out to me what stuck out. All right. So I call him Subject G because that's the first initial of this person talking in this interview. And then what I did was I pulled out all the points. So there is a person in this interview with the first initial P talking about somebody with a first initial G. Hope you're following me now. Okay. So P worked for D. Okay. He was a previous property owner who did handyman work. He had been a family friend of P for years and went on vacation together with his family, his daughter, D's daughter, and G. Okay? Did I confuse you? Sorry. All right, I'll just get to the point.
I'm going to have to like write this down. Can
Okay.
you just say, can we just make up names? That might be better if you just said.
All right,
Gabrielle
Paul and David. Paul and
Yeah.
David, okay?
All right,
So
okay.
Paul is the one talking in the interview. And Paul says, "Oh my gosh, Anna, thank you. We love you so much." Okay, so Paul worked for David, a previous property owner doing handyman work. Okay. He had been a family friend for years. Okay. And during a trip together, they stumbled upon somebody with the last name G. So we'll call him Gary. Okay. Gary unexpectedly appears on a hillside at night and pulled out a hunting style knife to show Paul. And this startled Paul as I don't want to. What if somebody jumps on here and I'm saying names wrong? I'm making up names. I don't like that. So I just want to see.
I'm totally following it now.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
GPD. I mean,
I know. All right. Okay. Well, G is the initial of the main guy, and his name is Gary. We're giving him a name of Gary. Okay.
right.
So Gary startled Paul as he approached silently in the dark. Okay. Here's Gary's background. Gary reportedly had military aspirations and carried large knives. Paul heard that Gary had a history of being verbally abusive, had poor school grades, and was prone to explosive arguments, especially with his mother. Last initial L. We'll say she's Linda. Gary was described as calm in public, but suppressed anger, especially during family conflict. Gary allegedly followed two of the eventual victims, Zaina and Maddie, to the Mad Greek restaurant, where he observed them and possibly had a heated interaction with them. Gary later boasted to Paul that he could have killed the girls if he wanted to, and they wouldn't have even known he was there. Okay? Gary reportedly stored knives in the basement, in a woodpile outside, and in backyard sheds at, who did we say D was?
Dave.
Dave's house in Moscow. Okay, so here's the incident at the Mad Greek, which is a restaurant. Okay, Paul recounts a day where Gary came into the Mad Greek where the victims worked and possibly had an argument with them. It was politically charged and he stormed out. Gary believed the victims were lesbians and may have felt slighted by them socially. Okay? Post this behavior, Gary was said to go on long walks late at night and disappearing for hours. When confronted by Paul about his behavior or his mother yelling at him, Gary blamed the college and claimed it corrupted his sister as well. Here's a kicker. Gary claims his mother had been raped at a college party at the University of Idaho. So I think the mother apparently liked to go around to the frat houses and offer herself up. She was probably some slummy woman. No, you know what I mean? That just, offered her body to young college boys.
Is this mother Gary's mother?
Yes.
No, I don't believe it.
I have it in black and white. It's an interview. It's an interview with the police.
But the interview by who?
All right,
who's giving the interview? I mean,
Paul.
Who's the
Paul.
Paul is just somebody. He doesn't know what she did.
No, Paul. Do you want me to get the interview and read the interview word for word?
No, what I'm saying is, who is Paul? Like, how would he know her? How would he know Gary's mother's background? He was a
previous property owner with either of Kings Road or a property on that street where he managed it for other kids that rented from them. So he was in and around these kids all the time. Okay, and then he was interviewed. They went door to door to all these neighbors on Queens, on Kings. Those are the name of the streets. There was another one that starts with a W, and they interviewed everybody. They stumbled across, I'm going to say Paul, but his first initial P. And he obviously gave a lot of information to the police because he's from that area. He's a property owner. And he mentioned, well, you might want to look at Gary. Get it?
Gary's mom.
No, Gary. Gary followed the girls back to the house one night and told Paul that I was in the house and they didn't even know it and I could have killed them. That's what Gary said.
Okay, no, I know, but I'm talking about Paul's making assumptions that Gary's mom was possibly somebody who offered herself up.
No, Gary told Paul that. He's saying everything he heard from Gary, that Gary told him, that his mother had gotten raped by kids at the University of Idaho.
Okay.
Jocelyn.
So you're saying Gary is, what was it? All these damn initials. You're saying Gary's like saying this about his own mom.
Yeah. All right. You know what? Talk to our viewers. Let me see if I can get. Let me get the interview. I did print it. Hold on.
Okay. Well.
It's confusing, though.
I thought you were saying that Paul's like, well, I heard through the grapevine that Gary's mom was that. So that's what got me confused.
Yeah, and I don't like saying Gary because,
we all know it's not Gary.
All right, I have Maisie's. Here's Maisie's interview, okay? Maisie is one of the triplets of Ethan and Hunter. Okay, so regarding Zaina, this is what she's saying. Ethan and Zaina had been dating for about 1 year and met through school. Maisie has known Zaina for 1 year and met her through Ethan. Maisie talked with Zaina once during Rush. You know what that is, right? Sorority Rush.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Through Rush. But never hung out with her until Zaina started dating Ethan. She partied with Zaina, but never hung out with her outside of that. And Zaina was a junior, had a lot of friends, and knew most of campus. Maisie met Zaina's dad briefly during Parents' Weekend, never met Zaina's sister, and this is interesting, and never heard anything factual about Zaina's mom, but knew Zaina did not have contact with her.
Right.
So she had no relationship with her mom.
Because the mom, in this book, they're saying that the mom was a drug addict.
Didn't know that. And she came forward. Yeah. She gave a victim impact statement. Did you listen to the impact statements the other day?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're so riveting. I was going to play it too, but I don't know if we're going to have time today.
Yeah, so, I wanted to. I just got...
it's so worth it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ethan would often spend time with Zaina while she was at work at Mad Greek. Ethan and Zaina never mentioned having weird feelings about anyone, like customers or employees at Mad Greek. So that's important because you've got this other guy saying that G was a problem. Okay. But then again... If what G said to P is correct, that I went in that house and was hiding and I could have killed those girls if I wanted to, she wouldn't have known that anyway, right?
Yeah.
Zaina wouldn't have known that.
Honestly, I really think that Zaina and Ethan were just collateral damage.
Right. Well, I think if it's for Frank, so you're right. And you're right. I shouldn't use the word a lot because I could get flagged by YouTube. But we're saying
what word?
Don't say it out loud. It's assault. Okay. So, he's right. And I wasn't paying attention, but I do know that for the most part, that if you're just giving commentary and you're delivering information and you're using the word based on what you're reading or something that's in the news, it's okay. But if you're saying it all over the place, yeah, I probably could get flagged. We could get flagged. That wouldn't be good. Okay. So anyway.
Well, thanks for the heads up.
Thanks for the heads up. Ethan never said anything negative about his relationship with Zaina to her. Okay. Oh, here we go. Is this it? No, that's not it. Okay, I thought this might have been it. There's another P. Oh. They met through the fraternity. Okay, Ethan and somebody named P also, but I don't want to get confused with the other one. Okay, Kaylee with the stalker. Okay, so he is speaking to, I'm not sure who he's talking to, but he's talking to one of the kids here. Okay, at approximately on November 15th. I called and spoke with so-and-so. I introduced myself to so-and-so. This is the police officer talking. And told her I was giving her message to call about possible information regarding Kaylee having a stalker. Okay. She tells me that Kaylee, and some friends had lunch with Kaylee. I'm sorry, that she and some friends had some lunch with Kaylee around September 11th, 2022. Ironic. And she thought Kaylee said something about having a stalker. And they thought Kaylee mentioned receiving something in the mail, but some of the other friends at the lunch thought Kaylee mentioned getting a strange message through Facebook Messenger. So there's a little bit of conflict there. Yeah. She told me she had been speaking with all of the friends who were at the lunch, and they were trying to remember what was said. Okay. And she provided me with the names of all the other friends. Okay. So then there's another name that he talks to. How did the conversation come up regarding the stalker at the lunch with Kaylee? She said, this new girl says, Kaylee would always talk about things in a light, joking manner, and they did not think much about it. She thought the stalker topic just got brought up at some point during the lunch conversation, but she could not remember how specifically. And then he thanked her and moved on. Here's subject G. I'm just going to read it with the P's and the G's and the D's. Okay, ready? Here you go. This is, okay. I think this is big. I think this is a huge thing and nobody's talking about it. So try to follow.
This is the drum roll thing?
Drum roll. Yeah. I don't have drum roll, but applause is fine. Okay.
Okay. All right.
It's confusing. So I'm just going to say first initials, try to follow. The police officer's talking. I asked P if the information he would be sharing would be dealing with one person. P told me it would. I asked P if I could get the individual's name. P told me the person's name was G, later identified as GM are the initials. P told me he did not know the individual's last name, but believed he knew where he lived. P told me he lived in the blank blank apartments. P told me this apartment is just off of blank avenue, and then turn onto blank lane, and then right onto blank street. I think that's King Street. And the apartment is across from the blank blank. P told me that G lives in the apartments. P begins by explaining to me that he had done a lot of work for D, who is the prior owner of blank. P told
that he did a lot of work for D, who was the prior owner of blank.
Okay, so what I'm taking that as is P is somebody who's a handyman that did repairs for King's Road, okay? And that the owner is K. K is the owner of that property, okay? So P told me he had been a friend of the family for many years and had done handyman jobs in the past for D, to a place the family goes to that has a vacation almost every year. Okay, so P told me that after they got there, R, who is one of the D's sisters, got into an altercation with a male who was camped near where they were. Are you following? They're at a vacation home. Mm-hmm. P also does handyman work for the vacation home of D and L. Mm-hmm. Okay, while they're there, they're saying that who is one of the sisters was there, got into an altercation with a male who was camped near where they were. P then tells me that it was a heated argument, but everyone eventually went back to their... P then tells me that after they got there, there was an altercation with a male who was camped near where they were. P told me it was a heated argument, but everyone eventually went back to their campsites. P then tells me that later in the evening, he noticed R and L were walking past the male's campsite. Now, I know those are females. R and L were walking past the male's campsite, so he went up the hill where he could observe and make sure nothing was going to happen to the girls. P told me that he had been up on the hillside for several minutes in the dark when all of a sudden, G appears out of nowhere. P then tells me it startled him for a minute because he never heard or saw where G came from. And P told me that he pulls out a knife to show him. P then tells me that this was a hunting style knife and that he had spoken to G, who had showed a great interest in having a career in the military. The police officer now is asking P if he could describe the knife. P then tells me it was a typical 7-inch blade hunting skinning knife. Okay. P then tells me he has heard that G has bad grades in school and that L, his mother, had been extremely verbally abusive to him. I hope you guys are following me. I know this is confusing. I asked how L and G, that's mother and son, L and G, would travel to Moscow from Boise. P told me he believed that they would ride the bus when they traveled. P told me that when they stayed in Moscow, at D's house, G and his sister would stay in the basement, and L, the mother, would sleep outside or in one of the 2 sheds in the backyard. P tells me that the significance of this was that G would keep his knives in the basement of D's house in the wood pile that was outside or in one of the 2 sheds in the backyard. P then tells me that around the end of May or sometime in the middle of June after COVID was letting up, he was at the Mad Greek restaurant having a late lunch or early dinner. P then tells me that this was on a Saturday or a Sunday. P tells me he had ordered a glass of wine, which he is sure that Ethan brought him. P tells me that he is not sure if Ethan worked at the Mad Greek or was just helping out that day. P then tells me that a bit later he noticed that G had come into the restaurant now, with possibly D, who is G's cousin. P then tells me that Zaina and Maddie had gone over to G's table and Ethan later joins them. P tells me it appears to be a heated conversation, but he could not tell what it was about. P suspected it may have had something to do with cancel culture and that G was stirring them up with conservative comments. P then tells me G left without eating anything. Later that night, around 9 to 10 p.m., P was at D's house in his backyard. And P said that L, mom of G, was extremely drunk and she was yelling at G. P then said she stated, "You're a loser and you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail and you're ruining your life." P was not sure what L was referencing to when she said this. P then tells me that G left right after this altercation and he did not see him again. P then goes on to say that G will go on long walks and will not return until the early morning hours when things like this happen with his mother. Get it?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so then P tells me he was over at D's the next morning picking up some tarps from a job he had been doing, and G shows up then. P tells me he asked G what he does after he leaves when his mom is yelling at him, and G tells him he goes over to the college. P then tells G... P told me that G believes the college is to blame for how his mother is. And P explains that L, the mom, went to parties at the college and likes to go and drink. P then tells me he does not know for sure, but believes that L has been raped at one of the college parties. P then tells me he asks G about the conversation that takes place at the Mad Greek restaurant, and P says that G tells him that he had followed the girls to the Mad Greek from the college. G then says that the 2 girls were lesbians. G then tells P he had went back to the girls' house on Kings. When they came home, he was inside the house hiding and made the statement, "They had no idea that I was there. I could have killed them all if I wanted to." P then tells G, oh, P told me that G then went and got a larger knife from out of the back shed and shows it to him. And then P tells me every time he was around G and G's mom, the mom would explode on him, and he always stayed very calm and would not react to her, but then take off. Okay, now listen, man.
That was just
it's all here, y'all.
Right, but the P guy is just some person who lives in
They went around.
That,
yes.
Right.
Okay, just to clear the air with you so that you're not confused, Lynn, or anybody listening. They went around to everybody within that vicinity and in that neighborhood and any lead they could get. And they spoke to everybody. And when they got to this guy P, he had a lot to say, and that is what he said. You could take it or leave it.
Yeah, if I'm following this correctly, G is the guy in jail. Gary's the guy in jail?
He's not in jail. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah, but when they refer to Gary, when you refer to the guy,
G is the one that was at the campsite, came out, showed the knife.
I know,
he's got a volatile relationship with his mother, but I didn't hear anything about him being in jail.
Oh, this is just some guy.
No, this is when the police were going around to the neighborhood around Kings Road and starting to interview neighbors. Okay. Here's another thing. A lot of phone calls about noise complaints were made from the street behind Kings Road. Right. Okay. Some people are trying to say that it's possible that Kohberger made those calls. I haven't read all 300 pages yet, but apparently there's something in there to clarify which is the truth on that.
There was always a party going on.
Always a party
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always a party going on at their house.
First he goes, I gotta pee. I'll be right back. And he goes, oh, gee, this is confusing. It is confusing. I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't do a good job reading it. Did I not do a good job reading it? I thought I did okay at the end there. But it's hard. What I could do is when we do our next episode, I'm actually going to have a better way to say it. But I thought it was interesting.
I don't know why you didn't want to commit to a false name, just so we could all follow.
Because if somebody hops on that is a Kohberger follower and they hear me talking about Gary and Linda, they're like, what? These people don't even know this case.
Let's use like items like apple and pear.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Thank you, Frank. He's like, you did great, Carolyn. Yeah.
Hit the sound button for yay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I was going to cover today because there's I did not read the whole other. I mean, it's a lot. I'm going to read it. And I'm going to pull out more.
That is a lot.
But, it does bother me. A couple things, I don't know. Apparently those kids, they did get themselves into a lot of trouble. What do you mean? So, I mean, they were not they were involved in some, nefarious stuff. They were, but I don't want to shame the victims.
Typical stuff.
Right. College students do. I know. But what I'm trying to say is that with all that, I'm not saying
your daughter's going to be doing. Just kidding.
Excuse me? Don't even get me started. I don't think so.
Parties? They partied a lot? No, you don't. Okay.
No, listen, I know my daughter and I know some of you are going to roll your eyes at me because she has no idea. Let me tell you something. I have a kid that is very open communication with me. And she tells me outright all the time, Mom, I'm not interested in partying. I'm not interested in alcohol. I'm not interested in drugs. She don't want any of that. She even she seeked out a roommate.
For sure.
Yeah, never. Oh gosh, never. No. So, but yeah. So
not my goddaughter.
But it's hard because your child just went to college this past year, freshman year. And
I'm sure he drank.
My daughter, yeah. I mean, what do you know about what your son's up to?
I'm sure he drank a lot.
Have you told him anything about locking his door because of this case?
Actually, believe it or not, his door automatically locks.
Okay.
So,
Does
so
he
if
have like a
leaves
key?
his,
Yeah.
yeah, he has to have a key. So, it doesn't even, there's not even an option to unlock it. You always have to bring your key,
Okay.
which
Well,
I kind of
okay.
like, you know?
But tell me, I'm curious. Give me like the top 3 things that you could think of that he has gotten himself into, or things that, because, it's hard when these kids go off to college. First of all, they're not going to think some guy's going to come in and slash them, right? And
Right.
kill them. But you gotta it's not only in the dormitory or in the housing that they get, but it's at the frat parties, and it's at strangers' houses, and even down the street at their job at a restaurant, coming home from a food truck at 1 a.m.
I mean, in all reality, like we had this conversation at our last podcast about Kohberg. Remember, we were saying how the whole town was just the type of people who never locked their doors. The keysmith, that's that town said that he was so inundated in getting everybody new locks for their doors because everybody was just
Oh, the locksmith, you mean?
yeah, the locksmith.
You
right.
said keysmith.
Oh,
I've never heard of that. Okay, locksmith.
locksmith. Sorry. That he was inundated because everybody was changing their locks or
Yeah.
putting locks on. But and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if it's because we're from the Northeast. Like there's no way I'm going to bed without locking my door.
Yeah.
And all the doors and all my windows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that town particularly just didn't they just didn't do it. The town, it wasn't even like, per person, whatever. And not for nothing. If I had a dog, I wouldn't be leaving it in a room with a closed door. Like my dog runs free for that reason as another barrier. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't cage my dog, and I'm surprised that Maddie did. Maddie, no, Kaylee, it's her dog. She left the dog in her
The other room. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Locked
Maybe
up.
maybe he had the
closed.
poops. Maybe he had a bad case of the poops or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember when I went to college, there's a free spirit to you at that age, and there is a
Innocence, of course.
an innocence, but also nothing's gonna harm me. Nothing's gonna bother me. I can do this.
Yeah,
I remember, and I went to school I went to school at a pretty lame, tame school. I did. But so I had to make my own fun. You know what I mean? Like I was I literally was the party. Me. I was the party. And everybody else was just kind of like, nah. Sorry if any of my alma mater are on here. But anyway, I went to a lame school and it was boring. And, we would play a game. It's a curse word, so I'm not going to say it. But it starts with an A. We played this slapping game, card game with a slap. What was that called?
No idea.
Do you remember? Okay.
No, because I was an RA.
And I would order a pizza every night with extra black olives on it. And I would walk in the dark, because it was open till midnight. I would walk in the dark down a really quiet, residential, dark street, 20 minutes to go get my pizza with extra olives on it. And
by yourself?
Sometimes by myself. Sometimes I'd bring a friend, but sometimes I'd be by myself. And I wasn't I mean, you walk by a couple houses and you're like, ooh, I'll just move fast past those 2 houses because they're dark.
Yeah.
But, you just don't think anything's going to happen to you. You know what I mean? And
it's true.
But yeah, my dorm was locked. But I mean, when you start going into a sorority house or you're going into off-campus housing, that's a whole different story. And this wasn't only, their party house, but it was the entire town's party house. I mean, everybody that went to that school.
Town.
Right. Well, everybody that was within that vicinity, within so many, square miles around it, were students. So they were going there to party. So they were purposely leaving doors unlocked. Yeah. I do believe that they did lock it at night. No. Never? But they locked their individual doors, right?
No. I mean, according to this book I'm reading, a lot of people are saying, I'm locking my door for the first time. I'm not only locking it, but I'm actually pushing the couch up against the door. People are just at the King's house. The they had, which is so weird. They had a digital lock pad in the front door, but the sliding door didn't lock. Like all you do is like there was a trick to it. You just picked it up and it would open. Like there was no true lock to it.
Right.
Which, like you think, and apparently people were in and out of the house all the time because there was a lot of them living there. And look at Zaina, she ordered Uber Eats at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So she could have had a friend over. So, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but both the girls were really drunk, and it's understandable to a point. Plus, you gotta give them you gotta give them some slack for their generation. Because I think our generation, we're just curious people. We would have been like, what the hell is that? Like we just would.
So you're saying we're smarter? We were a smarter generation than this one?
No, I think we are a curious generation. Like we didn't, like either that we're a curious generation, or maybe it's just the Northeast in us. Like we want to know what's happening. Like, like.
Right. So you're saying we're more street smart than the generation that's out now.
Right. Or street smart. Right. So like, for instance, like nowadays, if people want to like look into something, they deep dive on in the internet. Whereas if we want to know something, we like go out there and talk to people. We go out there and get the information. That's how we had to do it back then.
And do the internet. We do both.
No, I'm saying back then. I'm saying back then. Like, so you wouldn't be like, oh, I wouldn't text a friend and be like, did you hear that? I go get the friend and be like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We confronted people. We would be on your face and be like, so what's going on? Let's squash this crap right now. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, they're all hiding behind their phones. So
yes, so that
very good point.
It's understandable why she didn't want to confront this person. But then again, I mean, we don't know, but I really think that Zaina just probably did question it, like she heard something, and because the fact that he said, "Don't
Zaina," you're confusing me. Zaina?
Yeah, I think that she heard the commotion upstairs. I think that's how I think she was the collateral damage.
Zaina, you're confusing me, Lynn. Zaina is the one on the second floor. You're talking about Bethany.
I know. No, I'm talking about Zaina. I think Zaina was curious, and she went to go see what happened, which is which unfortunately she ended up, dying from being curious.
Here's my theory, because a lot of people said, how is it that she's screaming her head off, because she did. Zaina was screaming at some point. That Zaina.
How do you know?
Because Bethany says it in her interview that she heard her screaming. Yeah,
she heard her screaming.
She heard her scream. Yeah, from Zaina. So my question is this. I originally was like, how is it that Ethan didn't hear that? Whatever. Well, here's my theory. She went downstairs to get the food, and while she was downstairs getting the food, he had already come in on the second floor, and he murders Ethan and then waits for Zaina to come back. That's what I think happened. Yeah.
That's a good one. That was good.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I keep on hearing about him facing the wall and then the neck and the butt, which I thought that was weird. Why go neck? Why go butt if you already went neck?
Right.
I don't get
it. Anyway, it's these things. We'll do more. Obviously, didn't have enough time today to do it all, but I wanted to do more. But yeah, I just wanted to like end on this note with the kids in college and stuff. It's just like, I don't mean to offend anybody who has kids, because I have a kid. Okay, but honestly, I really do think that the kids today are lazy, entitled, and they did not grow up in the world we did, where, like you said, you had to deal straight on with your problems, right? You had to somebody talk bad about you, you have to go to them and figure out what's going on instead of texting or running away from it or hiding behind your phone. And I also think that they, we parents have done a terrible job at spoiling this generation also. I'm talking about the whole country, not just me or you. I'm just saying in general. Right. And, I adore my girl. I adore my daughter so much. But I'm realizing now that she's about ready to leave, and it's literally 2 weeks from now, that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really probably could have done more. Like, if she's over there, like, I think she said to me the other day, like, how do you use fabric softener? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's typical. That's typical.
All right. Well, I know, but still, That's
typical. At least she's asking.
Well, I'm surprised she asked because she's somebody who wouldn't ask. And then only when she gets down there will she be calling me left and right with stuff. But I'm just saying, like, you know.
I do have to say that Giovanni came home and one time and he said to me, he's like, and he was doing his laundry. And he said to me that he's the only one who separates his laundry. He's like, nobody separates their laundry. I go, what?
You mean they're washing darks with whites?
Yeah.
What is? Oh my gosh!
So then he says, he's like, and I'm the only one who separates darks, lights, and whites. I'm like,
see,
thank
okay,
you, Giovanni.
I agree. Okay, so yes, okay, so Anna, Ava just got a Lulu jacket from Anna, right? So from her grandma, she got a white Lulu jacket, and it's like gorgeous, and she's wearing it like the thing is gonna grow its own mind pretty soon because she wears the thing all the time ever since she got it. Anyway, I said, Ava, please. Ooh, I wasn't supposed to say that, but anyway, I said, please do not wash this without talking to me first. It cannot go in with even other. I don't even want it going in with like a light yellow or a light blue.
Yeah. Or hot water. It has to be cold because
absolutely. And I'm gonna have to make her like. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make her like a cool little chart and everything. So yeah, but and I don't even know, like, you know, even with that, I just think like some Oxy and Tide. There's people watching us probably going, how do we go from Bryan Kohberger to how to do your laundry?
I know our rants are real.
That's why we need to have that other show where we just kind of BS. It's like so fun. Like, so we could talk about, like, I have an amazing recipe for the best stain lifter ever. We need to talk about that.
Real quick, you know, I had this note. I didn't want to interrupt you, but you know what? I'm wondering, like, so they find like this little blood on his knife sheath, right? That connects him. And then now you're saying that and I did hear through like the grapevine throughout the years that I heard that they were saying like there was like actually blood leaking out of the house. Like there was so much blood that it was
there was.
Okay.
That's true.
Oh, see?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And last week when that person said, like, kind of tuned me in to like they should have never knocked down the house, I couldn't. It's only gotten stronger for me as the week has gone on. I'm like, oh my gosh, why did they knock that house down?
I know. I was thinking, that's so funny. I was thinking about that too on Wednesday, and I thought, you know what, I said that. I was like, you know, that person's right. They probably should have never knocked it down because they could have went back if they had to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, so what I'm saying is, how now that you're telling me, like, with all this blood, and that her face was so unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And then, just the way it is. Where was the blood on him? Like, why could they not connect the blood on his car? Like, why
really
was it
good? That bothers me too. I mean,
like,
he did it, but I mean,
how is there not one drop? All you do is do a blue light. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just amazing how he didn't, how there's not even any evidence there. Like, how did you do that? I would love to know.
I know. Me too. I mean, these are questions that we just, I mean, it would be nice to know the answers to them because they don't make sense. Yeah. I have more questions now after these documents that just came out than I ever did before. I'm like, wait a minute, what about these things? What about this thing? I mean, yeah, he did it and everything, but can you please explain X, Y, and Z? Because I'm like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, let's go back on again on Monday, and I wanted to play the victim. Don't listen to. I'll play some of the victim impact statements because they're really good. And oh man, he was cold as ice. He was cold as ice.
Zaina's father was pretty brutal, or was it? Kaylee's.
Zaina, there was an uncle. He wasn't a father. Well, Kaylee's father, he wasn't as brutal as I thought he was going to be, but there was an uncle that came on and he was just like, dude, you're going to hell. I mean, it was like,
that was him. That was him.
It was an uncle.
I saw that.
It was an uncle. Okay. I just don't remember which one it was. But right. I'll play. I'll get it all ready for you guys next time and everything. So, how are you guys feeling? I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I have a piece of like yarn in my. I feel like yarn in my. Sorry, everybody. I have like
you need to
something in my eye. Yeah.
But yeah, let me know what you guys think about doing another show about just whatever. Just
BSing.
We could fight for you. We could fight for you. All right. Anyway, make sure you subscribe, like, share the channel. I so appreciate you guys.
Thanks. Well,
and yes.
Okay.
Yep. Like. Okay.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye. We'll see you next time. We'll see you Monday night.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.